All right. So I used to run miles every single day. It was not because I loved doing it, it was because I genuinely thought that being tiny was my entire personality. And spoiler alert, it wasn't. Today we're talking about faith, fitness, and the moment my life completely shifted. So, welcome to Good Call. The real story. So when I think back on my early fitness era outside of the sports that I played in high school, the version of myself that comes to mind is honestly one that's very sad. When I look back on that time, I wasn't healthy. This time would have been about like 2014, 15. Yeah, 2014, 2015, when I was like a freshman, sophomore in college. At this point in my life, I was in college, had just graduated, and I was doing everything in my power to avoid the freshman 15. This was like the first time I was on my own, going to college. I was like purposefully starving myself because I was scared, like I said, of getting the freshman 15. And I wasn't happy with the way that my body looked. Now, I know a lot of people on this earth, I feel like everybody at some point or another has that moment where they're like, oh, I could be a little bit more thin or I could look this way. And everybody deals with self-image issues. But I thought my worth at that time came from being small. Not because being thin is bad, because everybody's body is different, but it was because I was chasing a version of health that was actually harming me. I wasn't fueling myself, I wasn't feeding myself, and I was literally shrinking my body so that people would see me as fit. And then a few years passed. I think it was like a year and a half, maybe. To be honest, it was such a long time ago, and it was that part of my life where I really try and like block it out. But I remember I was really, really thin. This was when I was my thinnest, and my mom came into my bedroom, and she was really emotional. She was crying almost, and she looked at me and she was like, I'm really worried about you. I'm afraid you're going to die. And hearing that from your mother who loves you, it shakes you. And I remember thinking like, yeah, I need to make a change. I am very thin. This is not good, and something has to happen. So for me, that was really the final straw when I realized that something needed to change. I, at that time, had been so thin that I had like lost my period. I wasn't losing hair, but I was just really thin, and I did not have a healthy relationship with food. If anything had carbs in it, I would avoid it at all costs. Fat, I would avoid it at all costs. I wasn't eating much at all, but I was running all day, every day. I was thin, stick bones. And I can probably put in a photo right here of how thin I was. Then from that point, as soon as I decided, this it's time to make a change. Mom is right. It was really hard. I remember there was a big shift mentally for me to be able to look at food and be like, okay, it's okay to eat. It's okay that I'm gaining a few more pounds. And it really messes with you. And if you've ever gone through that, going from an extreme weight to the other, you lose yourself, or you have to refine yourself. And it's scary. I remember looking in the mirror and being like, where'd my abs go? Which is crazy to think because I was like 95, 98 pounds and I'm 5'5". I probably now weigh like 130 some pounds with the muscle I have on, which young Mac would have blown a gasket. But it is crazy to look back at photos of me when I was in high school at 130 versus me now at 130. My body composition is completely different, and we're going to get into that journey to strength here in a second. But it's just wild to think how different your life can change in a matter of 10 plus years. So let's get to the road from being skinny to strong. And for me, boy, was that a journey. So I started lifting slowly. I was still scared to lift heavy. I still had that don't get too big fear in my mind. I was doing low weight, high rep. And I ended up going from Indiana to Mississippi. Like I mentioned in my first episode, was there for about a year and a half. Slowly started gaining some more weight down there. It's hard to not gain weight when you live in Mississippi and they're feeding you grits and biscuits and gravy and catfish and everything is fried. And I love Southern food. But yeah, I gained a few pounds when I was down there. Not too much, but I moved to New York. So this was 2020 during the COVID time. A little after I moved there, like maybe a few months, I met somebody on Hinge who was my boyfriend, who ended up being my boyfriend for like 2-ish years. And even though that relationship didn't work out, that was really a big part of helping me to step into my real strength. He encouraged me to lift heavier at the time. I really didn't have a choice because he was a personal trainer and he lifted heavy, and he was the type to go in the gym and just 100 pounds each arm, just molly-whopping that thing in the air. I don't know if that's the way you say it. He was just going ham, 100 pounds each arm, and I was like, okay. I'm a competitive person, so I was like, shoot, let me try. And he would encourage me to lift heavier, push me out of my comfort zone. He was a personal trainer, and he was the one who inspired me to get certified. That decision completely changed my life. Despite the multiple breakups that we went through, I'm not going to get into that relationship, and I'm also not somebody who wants to talk negatively about someone else, because that is not at all what this is about. There are a lot of good things that I learned from that relationship, but despite the multiple breakups that we went through, that season of my life was by far one of the hardest seasons of my life. It completely broke me down, but at the same time, it also rebuilt me. And I realized that we all make choices every single day, and you have to live with those choices, whether they're good or bad. Every single thing you do is a choice, and also not doing something is a choice. But sometimes God uses people for a chapter and not a lifetime. So this is where my faith met fitness. And when I asked myself, how did God meet you in those hard seasons of your life between the breakup and later the layoff from my job that I previously had? My breakup was the moment that I really realized God wasn't just with me in the highs, but he was also with me in the heartbreak. And that breakup pushed me even deeper in my faith. I realized God wasn't just with me when everything looked good. He was with me in the heartbreak too, like I said. So fast forward, I remember I prayed for months, like, God, open a door, but whatever your will is, let it be done. And boy, did he answer by closing the only professional door I've ever known. And, for the past, 2.5 years, 3 years now, it's probably been 4. It's been 5 years. It has been 5 years since 2020. So a lot can change in 5 years. I am very different now than I was when I first got to New York, and I thank the Lord for the lessons that I learned when I was going through that relationship in that time in my life. And I'm always going to be grateful. I will forever be grateful that I went through what I went through with my ex, because it taught me so much, like I mentioned. So I should have been terrified when I lost the job that I had for 8 years, but truly, it is a peace beyond understanding. I felt this calmness in my spirit when it happened, a peace that wasn't mine. It was God's. So when that door closed, it was really scary to think about. I had prayed for new opportunities. I was praying that his will was done, not just mine. Like I mentioned, that door slammed in my face. So this was the first time I have ever been on my own. This was the first time I had not been with a company. I'd been with my entire professional career. I would not be here without God. He has always been with me, even when I felt alone, when I wasn't paying attention, and when I was on top of the world. His faithfulness did not change, but my awareness did. And in every season, he has been there, and he always will be. And in this season of my life and moving forward, I've been really trying to reevaluate every aspect of my life and really trying to make sure that everything I do now is for his glory. And I am not ashamed to share how good he's been to me. And I know that my actions and choices have to reflect that. When it comes to my personal training, when that comes to what I do with Cycle Bar, what I do with this podcast, I am putting myself out there. I am I am subjecting myself to criticism. I know that with this podcast and with this platform, it is my duty and it is an honor to be a good influence, because people watch. Boy, do people watch. people watch what you say and people watch what you do, even though you might not think they do. And if I could tell younger Mac one thing, it would be to trust the process, and it would be to never settle and don't sell yourself short. Because there have been so many times in my past that I have sold myself short, whether it was me posting something I had no business posting, me commenting on something I had no business commenting on, following people I had no business following. Social media is such an amazing thing, and clearly social media is a big part of my life. You can meet so many amazing people. It can open doors and amazing opportunities for you, but at the same time, you're also subjecting yourself to criticism. You're subjecting yourself to opportunities to get into trouble. Never settle. Create those boundaries that are non-negotiable. When you're thrusted into the spotlight, kind of how I was, where I went from Jackson, Mississippi to New York City on the biggest national scale you can think of, it's a big jump. And you're getting DMs from people that you never thought you'd get DMs from. You're meeting people that are Hall of Famers, that are billionaires. You're in rooms and you make connections. You have a network of people that you never had before. And it was a big transition. It was a big thing to take in. I'm very proud of myself. I'm not sitting here saying that I'm like, oh my God, I regret things that I did in the past. That's not what I'm saying at all. But younger Mac had a really big lesson, had a lot of lessons to learn moving to New York City. And, at this stage of my life, being 30 years old, almost 31 in January, I can't believe that 2025 is almost over with and I'm almost 31. Whoa. But I will say 30 has been the best year of my life. It's been the most transformative. It's the deepest I've ever been in my faith has been how should I say it? I've never been deeper in my faith or stronger in my faith than I have been at this stage of my life. I've never been more happy with myself and more secure. I am very proud of who I am. I'm excited for what's next. And like I said, it is my duty. It is an honor to be a good influence, and especially when I call myself a Christian, especially when I'm putting out a podcast about faith. I know it's not just about faith. Good call. This podcast is about sports and fitness and life, but faith is a big part of my life, and faith is a big part of this podcast. So if I'm having a podcast about faith, I have no business doing some of the things that I've done in the past. I have no business, engaging in behavior that's not conducive to a healthy lifestyle. If somebody sees me out in a bar getting drunk with friends and they're like, oh, wait, isn't that the girl who has that podcast about faith? It's not a good look. So I prayed for these opportunities, and I've been feeling in my spirit for a long time that, I just need to be the woman that I would want my future children to look up to. I need to be someone, if I'm over here saying that I want a husband that is a Christian, who's handsome, who's successful, who's family oriented, who's got good morals, then I have to be that wife that they would want to marry. I can't be over here doing whatever I want to do and having these high expectations for a man or if you're having a part. It's crazy talking to myself. I have went off on a tangent. 30 has been full of blessings. It's been full of hardships, which I think everybody can say 2025 was a rough year for them. I feel like at this stage in my life, I'm just really excited for what's next. And I know in order for me to attract who I want to attract in my life, whether that be friends, whether that be a partner, then I need to have all loose ends tied up. I need to be the woman that my partner would want to be with. And if I have these high expectations for a man, then why would I expect anything differently from him in wanting that from a partner? So in every aspect of my life, I'm trying to level up. I know we all make mistakes. I know we have to give ourselves some grace, but I am truly so excited for what's next. And, bringing it back to my point with how good God is. He's been there with me through it all, through the trenches, through the highs and the lows. and his goodness didn't change. Like I said, my awareness did. I love doing the whole, what would you tell your younger self if you could? So we're going to do some things I wish someone had told me when I was younger. So one of the first ones I have on here, I've already pre-written these down to kind of chat about. Strength feels better than the unhealthy version of skinny I was chasing. For so long, I thought that being tiny was a goal, but the day that I actually started feeling strong and seeing noticeable changes in my body, it changed everything. A lot of women are scared to lift because they think it's going to make them bulky, which is not the truth. It couldn't be farther from the truth. The only thing that's going to make you bulky is if you're eating a lot of food, shorty. Lifting is not going to make you bulky. Muscle weighs more than fat, but it takes up less space. And perfect example of that, I'll put a side to side is, up here is me when I was like 130 in high school, eating whatever the heck I wanted. I would literally go to school, eat my entire lunch. When my friends wouldn't want something, for example, like a cinnamon roll, I would eat their cinnamon roll. Then I would go up to the lunch line and get a packet of Zingers. If you know, you know, it would be the vanilla kind with the yellow top. Loved the Zingers. I was just a garbage can in high school, eating whatever I wanted. I would play sports, but I just didn't care about my health like I do now. And that's what's going to make you chunky. So you look at high school Mac that was 130 versus me now, which I think I'm probably 130 now. I don't weigh myself anymore, but the last time I did check, I think I was like 132 at the beginning of the year, and I really don't fluctuate much anymore. Usually gain or lose 5 pounds here and there, but my body has completely changed because I lift weights and I lift really freaking heavy. I could not imagine life anymore without lifting heavy. It makes me so happy. It's therapeutic. I love it. So yeah, strength feels better than any unhealthy version of skinny I was chasing. Number 2, rest is part of the work. Rest is not quitting. Rest is respect. I was overworking myself. My mom and dad can vouch for me. Ever since I was a kid, I've had high energy. I've always been go, go, go. I never took naps as a kid. Never. I never even let my parents take naps, I don't think. Which I want kids one day. But oh my gosh, if I have a mini version of me, God bless my soul. I was a brat as a kid. Even now, it's weird taking naps. I do take naps now. But even as a kid, I never took naps. Rest is not quitting. Rest is respect. Let your body get some rest. The only way you are going to recover and the only way you are going to be able to build your muscle properly and progress in your fitness journey is by taking rest. Rest is needed. Number 3, God is in your heartbreaks just as much as your breakthroughs. And my breakup really showed me that you prioritize what matters to you. And if you truly say that God is your number one, then you have to ask yourself, are you truly putting him first? When you wake up in the morning, is the first thing you're doing going on your phone and checking social media? Are you running to talk to your friends about the drama that you have in your life before you bring it to God? If God is truly your number one, then you got to check yourselves. Are you complaining every single day? Oh, this inconvenience. Oh, that inconvenience. You got to ask yourself that. Number 4, God closes doors to protect you, not to punish you. Losing my job felt scary, but I felt held. I felt at peace, and that's when I knew that it was time, and I knew that God was really, really behind this. All of us have had times in our life, I don't care who you are, where you have felt disappointed because something didn't go the way that you had planned or the way that you had hoped for. When I pray for a door being closed and a door being open, and it happens, you gotta roll with the punches. Losing my job wasn't necessarily in the bingo cards at the time, but I did feel at peace because I had prayed that a door would close that he wanted closed and a door would open that he wanted opened. And that happened. Number 5, the people that are meant for you will not be threatened by your growth. That is with friends, family, relationships. If somebody is truly there for you and truly supports you, they will not be threatened. by your growth in whatever aspect that is. Number 6, you are not behind, you are being prepared. Number 7, your body is the least interesting thing about you. My worth was never in my size. And the enemy is always going to try and attack you when it comes to the way you look. You're not good enough. You're too fat. You're ugly. You're too skinny. You got cellulite. Your nose is jacked up. The enemy is always going to try to attack you. And the crazy thing is that our looks are nothing that we can even control. Well, nowadays we can, but that's besides the point. You're born how you're born, and later in life, if you want to fix something, so be it. I got my lips done. We all know this, but we all get old. Our bodies change. We get saggy. We get wrinkles. We cannot control when we die. Every single one of us on planet Earth is going to get old. Who are you deep down? Who are you as a person? Do you have a sweet, kind soul? Or do you have a nasty personality someone who has no boundaries? Are you someone who doesn't keep their word? Are you that person where you say, oh, I'll call you back? And right when you're saying it, you're not going to call them back. Number 8, comparison and gratitude can't coexist. When I thank God for my health and my strength, comparison loses its voice. It's so easy to go online, compare yourself to somebody, thousands of women, thousands of other men, and say, oh, I don't look this way. I'm not pretty. I'm not successful. Oh, they've got it all figured out, and they're only 20 years old, and I'm 40, and I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. Your journey is special. You are special. All of us are unique, and that's what makes us special is we are unique. We are not that person. So comparing yourself to somebody else is going to steal your joy. Do not let what somebody else has affect your peace. Okay? Okay. Number 9, if it forces you to shrink, it's not from God. God grows you. He doesn't shrink you. And this can even be in friendships and absolutely in relationships or in professional settings. Number 10, you don't need a perfect plan. You just need a good call. Every big change in my life started with one small yes. Okay, so let's get to my good call of the week. What was my good call of the week and my not so good call of the week that taught me something? My good call of the week is actually one that I'm really, really proud of that I am trying to implement every week moving forward, and that is listening to uplifting, positive music. Music is one thing that I really struggle with. I love music with a good beat. If it's got some crazy lyrics but a good beat, it's hard. But at this point in my life, and especially right now, when I told you guys, I'm very serious about my faith and trying to walk the walk, especially if I'm talking the talk. Music is something that I've struggled with in the past. I love hip hop. I love country, R&B, reggaeton. I love Latino music. I love any and all music as long as it's not screamo, but I have listened to a lot of hip hop in the past. I teach Hip Hop Tuesday now, which I'm trying to figure out. Music is an area of my life where I was really lacking. I was allowing sin to come in. I was listening to music that is unhealthy, that's not productive, music that degrades women, music that I don't feel comfortable playing in my home. So my good call of the week was 1,000% changing what I'm consuming, and that is with music, TV, social media, food. It is so important what you put into your body. The only thing we can control in this world is what we say and what we do. So that includes what we are putting into our minds, what we are feeding our souls, what we are feeding everything. I don't even know the other word. And look, we can sit here and go back and forth on, oh, well, who cares? It's just a song. Oh, she's a good person. She says she's a good person. She says she's a Christian. She loves God. But why is her song talking about twerking and popping that you know what? And, oh, My man cheated on me, so screw him. I'm gonna go sleep with all these other people and go get drunk with my girlies. I'm good off that. I've listened to the music. I am good. I'm good. My not so good call of the week is. My not so good call of the week is actually a pretty funny one. I have a scooter up here in New Jersey. It's really inconvenient to have a car up here because of the parking, because of traffic, because of the price of gas in America. Everything is expensive. Insurance, you freaking name it. There's so much that goes into having a car up here. So I have a scooter. Not getting it serviced early on. This is like a not so good call of like the past year, month. I am just really learning that you got to take care of things. And that sounds crazy, but I feel very blessed to have the mom and dad that I have who have given me everything, or me, my brother, my sister, everything we could have asked for. My mom has always been one of those mothers who takes over and does everything for you if you need help. And I just realized like later in my life now at this point, I haven't been taking care of my scooter like I should have. I haven't gotten it serviced, which is like getting the tires filled, making sure the brakes are good, making sure the battery's good, even cleaning it. It's kind of it was dirty. So my not so good call of the week was not taking care of things that were important to me, like physical things, the way I should have. So my scooter needs now to get the battery fixed, I think, possibly the brake. I don't really know, but I need to go get it fixed. And this is something that I could have completely avoided had I just done the necessary steps early on to get it fixed. So good call of the week is being more cognizant and being very picky about what I consume. My not so good call of the week was not taking proper care of my scooter. So she needs to go get fixed. The battery possibly needs to get changed. The brake maybe. Who knows? Fingers crossed they can get it fixed. I don't have to buy a new bike. It's all good though. I'm still blessed. I'm so blessed. And there's no reason to fret. There's no reason to get mad over that. You do not have to be perfect to make a good call. You just have to show up. And if this episode spoke to you, I hope that you send it to a friend who needs some encouragement today. I am Mackenzie Salmon. This is Good Call. And remember, everything is for His glory. I'll see y'all next time.